Down here in the bottom right position of Hardwire to start this series off, he is DRG. And his opponent hanging out in the bottom side. Give it up for Kaitsu Gaming's Time. All right. So there's a couple of different things I'm going to be looking for here. First of all, how aggressive does this Terran player want to be? Now, obviously, we know Bjorn, he's the kind of player who likes to mix it up and adds in a 3 racks to this matchup. But Time is one of those players where he, you know, he likes to keep it simple. He doesn't overextend himself. And he also doesn't... he mixes it up, but he doesn't, like, go crazy mix-up. Like, he doesn't go Thor, Hellbat, like someone like Gumiho might do. Instead, this time he's going to go for a very standard Reaper Fast Expand, while his opponent on the other side is doing pretty much the same. A Fast Expand into Pool Gas. So, normal openings, but that does not mean a normal game is afoot. These guys still have a lot of room to kind of play around and mess up the perfect synchronicity. The Reaper is going to come out here, just do a little bit of poking around scouts, while he does get his Hellions up at home. He just wants to keep an eye out for anything that might go wrong. But this is kind of all the confirmation that he needs. Just seeing the fact that there is the Zerg, there is the Hatcher out at a normal time, and the Lings are going to be at home. They're not trying to kill his base. And they're already looking up towards the mid game, as we do have the third CC going down very, very quickly. So he's going to look to stay on top of his economy, which means that his first big push is going to be that much more powerful because of all the additional units that he's going to get. Going to follow this up with a Banshee play behind it, as he's just getting all set up. So we have this little bit of a lull in the action as these players get ready to go. DRG, by the way, is making a ton of queens right now. He really wants that energy so that he can not only spread that creep, but also like stop anything like these Banshees coming on out. The Banshees as well don't have cloak, and so we're gonna have to keep an eye on that for how much damage they can actually do, because Time is gonna have to make a distraction if he wants to send those in. DRG doesn't really look like he's overextending anything. He's not overreacting to what he's seen so far because he hasn't really seen a lot. I think he's going to be a little bit upset that he sees the third CC did not get punished by being built. He could have been a little bit more aggressive out on the map seeing that. But he's powering up soon. He's got his Evo chambers coming on in, so the +1 should be right behind it. And he's starting to hit those good drone numbers for a Zerg player. He's at 50 at the moment, going up to roughly 60. And so he's going to be able to start, since he hasn't really taken any damage, he's going to be able to start kind of just, what do you call it? Pumping out the unit production, so he's not going to have to worry about remaking these drones. The Queen's going to shoo away the Hellions for right now, but they are in big enough numbers where they can actually just sit back and fight a little bit, and that's kind of what he wants to do. He wants to expend some of that transfuse energy to make sure that there's not enough for the next engagement that comes down. He's trying to be jumped off creep, but there are enough of them. They travel in a book club. They will be able to get rid of those Hellions. Nice and simply. But his third base is already up and mining, so now it's going to come down to this big ebb and flow of TBZ. A lot of the times what you'll see is the Zerg player is playing defensive. He'll try and drone up while steadily adding to his army count, just having barely enough to defend. And it's the Terran's player job to kind of push him over the edge. So he wants to keep being aggressive. He wants to keep putting on pressure, and he wants to keep forcing cost-effective trades so that his opponent can't really afford to not only tech up, but to keep his economy rolling. Alrighty, though, we do see DRG being a little bit greedy, going up to double bases, so 4th and 5th going down at the same time. And it's going to be Spire play, which is pretty interesting because Lingbane Muta, it's an aggressive strategy, but it's also one that can go wrong very, very quickly. It's deceptively expensive to remake, so if you take a less than effective trade, then you're not going to be going up to Hive anytime soon. You're not going to be able to afford your upgrades. So that's what you kind of got to watch out for as DRG, but we already do have a full surround ready to go. Queen's in the front and Link's in the backfield catching the reinforcements. So DRG is just looking to clean this up as efficiently as possible. Though getting caught in their own little trap as the Siege Tank does siege up. One shot, no shot. But time is still kind of rotating around, looking for an opening. He wants to get a kill on that base at the very least, and the fact that he still has those Hellions at relatively high health means that they're going to be a beautiful buffer for the Banes that come in. A bit of a leapfrog coming on down, but that's just going to prompt DRG to say, hey, you have nothing at home. I'm going to go kill some SCVs. In fact, a lot of the production is actually down here as well. So that is very bad for time. He's going to get a base, but he's going to lose one of his own. 17 workers have gone down. He is completely supply blocked, as he will be for quite a bit of time. No pun intended. But he is starting to get on top of the upgrades. The Mutas having to come home to defend. The reinforcements do catch each other, so the 360 surround not going to happen for DRG. In fact, the Banelings not getting the connections that they need, but in the front, they find exactly what they're looking for. Unfortunately, though, there are still plenty of Marines, and this is the power of getting that fast 3-base. He has to defend these upgrades, because that is the one thing going for him. The fact that he will not be behind in those. But the Concave is really good for time right now. The supplies, relatively equal, 71 to 61 in terms of that army supply. And time is just raid pushing across the map. There's not really too much left. 10 Banes are on the way. Okay, that was a decent connection. Now DRG is just going to dive right on top of this. Mir's doing what they can, but they don't have the Ling support underneath that they need. I think he did actually get a kill on that Evo chamber, so there will be no Carapace. Very nice. Now the Muta's still looking for an angle where they can get some damage. They do find these medevacs, so always a nice pick off to limit the amount of healing. Looks like Time wants to go for another big drop play. Scan's gonna go down to kind of lead the army on a ghost hunt. As he drops into the main base, he catches a Muta that just spawned in. He finds a nice position. There are no Banes to help out with this. So he's actually going to do quite a bit of work there in the main. The siege tank rallying against the forces in the front. He's going to just continuously push this location. And while he was cleaned up in the main base, I think he actually made it worth it. Even though he didn't really kill a lot of drones, I think he got some Mutas for his trouble. But now DRG is on the counterattack. He is up 30 army supply. And Time gonna struggle a little bit versus this. Stim's forward, just going to try and bait these Banes for as long as he can. So far, he's not really getting the connections that he wants, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Time drops out, and DRG will take the first map of the series. All right, Glittering Ash. A map where that third base is going to be really hard to get. The wallpaper, though, yeah, it's a good wallpaper. I might have to see if they'll release it to the public after the tournament, but I have to talk to people who made it for that. Anyway, in this game, we do see it is Hatch first once again. Hatch Gas Pool, the most standard build order as a Ling that you can get. As, yeah, I'm not really expecting anything too crazy. Remember, these guys have to go through 2 more series if they even hope to qualify today. They still have another chance, rather they have 4 different chances that they can make it through. But it's really good to just kind of get a load off your mind and stop worrying so that you can practice for the main event just by getting out today. Obviously, we already have a Terran, a Protoss, and a Zerg in the final event so far. So whoever wins, actually, it's going to be either a Terran or a Zerg at this point, because there's no Protoss left in the tournament. But here we go. The Reaper going to be making its way across. Will Time go for the 3rd CC once again? So far, he is banking up quite a few minerals. 275, 305. And yeah, it's looking like he is going to go for the 3CC once again to try and stay ahead economically. I gotta say, I actually really like this move because it's very hard as the Zerg player to punish it. Like, not only do you have to know it's coming, but you also have to, about a minute ago, gotten your spawning pool down. And then you have to build at least a Baneling Nest to break through the front entrance. Yes, Scarecrow. They made that joke already. Yeah, this is either the most innocent map maker for his naming convention, or he knew exactly what he was doing and trolling Blizzard hard. But it looks like we're going to see roughly the same thing from Time here. He's going up to not only Hellions, but he should start that Baneling as Banshee as well. In fact, it looks like he's actually just going to go for Mech. Oh, wow. This is interesting. It's actually been a while since I've seen Mech. This is a Hellion Mech play right now. It's going straight for Infernal Pre-Igniters. This guy is insane. Rolling back the clock, I think the last time I saw this was Pult versus Classic. Way back in the day. Basically, what you do is you just make an absolute ton of Hellions, And with Blue Flame, you just attack everything. It worked really well back then. I would love to see it work right now, especially since Time is not doing just Mass Hellion. He's also going up to what looks to be either Liberators or Banshees. So it's not like all in, but it's still going to be really fun to see. In fact, just going to get the Viking so that he can deny some of that scouting information from that Overlord that is positioned outside his base. Here we go. Let's see what he can get done with this. The Roach Warren is coming on down. Lair is just about to complete, so if he's going to do anything with it, he's got to do it before his timer runs out. Now keep in mind that this does mean that he doesn't have any units to stop that one link, but here we go. Infernal Brainiac Igniters blasting through these links, but unfortunately not getting the best of connections. There we go, just going to focus down the mineral line now. 8 workers have perished, but you definitely need a lot more for the amount of Hellions you just expended. Okay, he gets 10 in total. Denies a little bit of mining time as DRG has to reset that natural. At the end of the day, was that worth it? It was very expensive. And behind it, he's not even going into mech play. He is just going straight back into bio. So that means a little bit of a delay for his next attack to come through. Losing the Viking as well, so just a little sloppy mistake there from Time. He's going to lift up 2 medevacs full of Marines. Stim is complete. Combat shield's about halfway done as well. So he's going to try and head up here towards that 4th base location. But unfortunately, he does get scouted a little bit early. So that means DRG with his mutos will be able to be in position to deal with it. Gonna focus fire down the base though, gets a very quick cancel. The Queens have plenty of energy, so it's not a good idea to stick around. In fact, he's gonna say to heck with it. I'm gonna try and kill at least one. He does get it, but now these units are pretty much trapped. And unfortunately, that is 2 full medevacs full of Marines gonna go down. So his army's looking a little bit worse for wear. Still no armory either. That's one thing we had to... never mind. There it is. In terms of that economy, you can kind of see that when those mules drop, it's really keeping Time even on that count. Adding in the Thors. But really, right now, Time has ceded full map control to DRG, and you can see that in the creep spread. It is already halfway across the map, getting closer by the minute. So now Time really has to make a decision here. Does he try to get a little bit more leeway in, try and move out on the map, or does he stay turtled up, go up to this very good Ghost Liberator siege tank force, and then from there try and not only break out but just break through DRG? Looks like the answer is right now he is getting ready for the first big move out. Siege tanks coming on in. So they should be able to do quite a bit. There's not that many Banes out on the map right now. But DRG already going up to Hive Tech, so that kind of tells you what kind of situation we're looking at for Time, who is about to get backstabbed really, really hard. So Time losing an entire base worth of workers. The Mutas start to kind of work away at this, but they do need some fire support in order to jump on it. It looks like fire support is what they're going to get, but this is a scary location for Time to jump into, or for DRG to try and dive into, as there is quite a bit of space where you can't really get a surround at those Lings. Here we go, DRG going to go in from two different angles. A lot of those Banes going down on the siege tanks, but there is still more Marines, more tanks in the back. So Time Supply, or DRG's, or Time Supply has, or one of them, DRG Supply has plummeted. And now he is going to have to stall to buy time with these Mutas. He can't afford to do anything else. Where are those Thors that Time made? Are they out on the map? I have no idea, but I could have sworn I saw a couple of Thors on the production tab. As the next army is getting ready for Time back at home. DRG is going to fly into a world of hurt. There's one of them. All last game will be on stream. I know the qualifier will, but that's all I know. So the Mutas gonna dive in where they can. They do get rid of the siege tanks, but there is so many Marines. A 40, almost close to a 40 army supplied lead as well for Time. If he can kill off a couple more bases, I think that's really gonna do it for him. Just gotta be careful not to lose this army, as he doesn't really have that many minerals to replace it. CBs are pulled, so he's not going to lose too many of them, but the Mutas forcing the entire army to come home, not before they've already killed off multiple bases. So once again, DRG just really struggling to kind of keep up with the Terran war machine. Almost went for drilling claws, decided against it because Widow Mines are for people who don't know how to micro. DRG is completely broke against 66 Marines. These Banes are going to have to take out at least 3 of them. 3 Marines for every single one. Time a little bit late to the split, so he will lose more Marines than he was hoping for, but GG is called anyway. It looks like DRG is playing it very, very safe, as he's just going for a full scout around, making sure that there is nothing that Time could hide out of the map. Yeah, Time he's not the kind of guy to do that to you, you know. He'll definitely buy you dinner before he messes you up. And by the way, if you guys use the delay command, there is a delay. There's a 2-minute delay. So if I don't answer your questions right away, that's why. This time though, Time has not built his factory just yet. He is banked up for it though. So a little bit slower on it, as I guess he decided he wanted to build the wall first. Don't worry, PH Neutral 7. While that match might not be played, I'm sure that they are definitely going to be playing against each other in the in the main event. So don't you worry your little head over it. These Lings do have to worry their pretty little heads over the Reaper coming on down, as once again Time just being a nuisance and also just being very greedy on this smaller map, as he will have a third CC very, very quickly. So he switched it up last time and went straight into that Infernal Pre-Igniters. But this time, however, I don't think he's going to necessarily do that. We do see that he has delayed the Hellion production until he could make 2 at a time. So, yeah, I think this is just going to be normal Hellions. Go into a Banshee and try and kill your opponent through just repetitive attacks. It's kind of just dancing around. We do have a Viking just to deny some scouting. That's Pult Viking right there, and you can see why he's gonna go a little bit tricky and try and bait push a Liberator into the third base, I'd imagine, and that should cause a little bit of chaos, and that is all Time needs to establish his third base, is chaos in the front. Hellions do kind of dance around. The Reaper KDA charge, making him jump. I think I would definitely jump too if someone hit me with a flamethrower. Who won game 1? It was DRG and then Time. Map number 2 was Hardwire, and then excuse me. Map number 1, yeah, map number 1 was Hardwire, 2 and 2 was 2000 Atmospheres. Okay. You know what? That's actually pretty smart, like, when you think about it, because what he's trying to do is he's not trying to kill anything by going up there. He just sieging it up so that it didn't come if he hit like F2A move or anything like that. Not saying he's gonna do that, but you know, you never know. Either that or it's just a massive bug and he clicked right on top of the hatchery or something. The drop play going on and instantly lifting up, but that is enough of a distraction to set the Liberator in place and the Hellions to dance in the barbecue. So 12 workers going down in total throughout the entirety of this attack. Most of them coming from the Hellions, but this is a very good effort from Beyond, or Time rather, to keep things rolling in his favor. Right, game 2 was Glistering Ashes. Sorry, I was thinking of another series. Here we go, another big attack from Time. This is kind of the ebb and soul that he needs to keep things rolling, but before he can even have time to set up, DRG is just on top of him, clearing up the siege tanks and making it very difficult for Time to establish that position that was so powerful in the last one. Time just gotta push his way forward, but the surround is good from DRG, so he's able to push him back, able to get rid of most of these siege tanks. The last one still holding strong, got a couple of additional shots off. So overall, Time is just slowly but surely breaking his way through. Now, DRG is not going to have that by any stretch. He says, if you can attack me, I can attack you. And he does manage to get a quick cancel on that 5th base. Try to let the game talk for itself a little bit. Sorry guys, I'm sneezing like it's nobody's business over here. But Time is going to push out here. He's got 91 to 80 army supply. He is looking for not necessarily a killing blow, but the second to next killing blow. Another small drop going to be coming down, denying mining on that 5th. And I think Time really just wants to starve his opponent out, which I get, but he's going to have to do a little bit more in order to do so, as this attack gets cleaned up very, very quickly. You're going to lose that command center almost. 22 workers going down. This is not looking good for Time, but he is still deciding to fight. Cannon connections right there, going to force the lift off of all of these units. And now Time, he had some forward momentum, but now it's gone, and DRG is going to look to take advantage of that. But how far can he really press? Looks like he thinks that the gold base might have a better chance at survival. Those upgrades, it looks like 2-2 for both sides. Hive is complete, so the Viper is going to be joining in. But for Time, he's not going for siege tanks anymore. Nice mining at that 6th. at that 11 o'clock position. Ooh, nice Widowmine connection right there. 17 kills. The second one. Just as well, getting 16 of its own. And there's actually no detection right now. So these guys are going to have to sit around and wait for either an Overseer to come up or their own cooldown to stop. Which, if the second one happens, it's not a good idea to be right on top of them. Battle lines have kind of been drawn right now. It's all going to come down to these last couple of bases. Have not been taken just yet. You do have the one on the bottom, which is a little bit easier for a Terran to take because you don't need to break down the rocks. But at the same time, you need to take advantage of the upper ground in the top. But here we go. The Ultras have dug in to their meal. The rest of the Marines can only stare in horror as these behemoths tear through their friends like a bad creepypasta written on a Saturday night. A huge Baneling connection right there, and DRG is up 50 army supply. He is crushing through the economy. These Liberators in the sky are doing what they can, and they're doing okay versus the Ultras, but it is just not enough. So with 38 workers dead, the army size is still relatively equal since these guys have been trading the entire time. Okay. Oh no, wait, that was a spore crawler. I thought that was times building for some reason. Big Widowmine connection right there. And that kind of brings time back into the game as he, if he can get a couple more connections like that, if he can get rid of these Ultralisks, then that's how he has to do it, because DRG, he doesn't really have a bank right now. He doesn't have the ability to remake these big, expensive, hulking Ultralisks. And time is just kind of funneled on in to a very defensive position. He's going to lift up and get on out of there, but not before trading out some of his units for Lings so that he can have more room for supply that he already did have, but he's not paying attention to. I'm just making things up now. Time, don't sue me. As he pushes forward, he does get another base as DRG just gonna rotate around to the top side, looking for a way he can break through. The Widowmine does not get a chance to go off. The planetary fortress will fall here. Baneling nest, or the Baneling bombs, just crushing through the civilians. Now DRG has pushed the creep all the way up to the last bastion of hope for our Terran friend. Reminds, do what they can, but it's just not enough. Ow. So that the upgrades are completely equalized. You see time just kind of, again, he's staying back. He doesn't need to attack into this at all. Especially not if DRG keeps walking into the Widowmines like that. With Lings, they can look pretty cheap, but they are also quite expensive when you're making 50 to 60 at a time. Spire is coming on down. I guess he does want to just keep the upgrades rolling while also going up to... Actually, no, he already has a Greater Spire. He is going to get a quick kill on this base. He's going to get caught is the problem. So he will have to sacrifice a couple of Marines just for the honor of being able to kill the... to kill them up. So Corruptors, Ultras, Vipers. This is still a very difficult army to contend with. He might want to go up to Broodlords, but at this stage, at this economy, in these weather conditions, uphill on a Wednesday, it's just not working. These guys have been playing for a long time as well. It's currently midnight 30 in Korea, so these guys are definitely starting to feel a little bit tired, but they are still battling their hearts out. Planetary needs to get repaired. It looks like Time doesn't even care about it. Instead, just going to go to one of his other locations and defend there. No, you can't just snipe all my Ultralisks. Haha. Sniper printer goes brrrr. So DRG going to sack quite a few of his units, but he will manage to get rid of the we'll manage to get rid of the base right there. I'm forgetting English. It's only my first language. But here we go. Time completely maxed out. This is his opportunity to pull things back and pull things into a victory for him. Fungal growth blanketing his army, but the infestors are all dead. Time is super far ahead in terms of that army supply double. Broodlords probably wouldn't have done it because he didn't have anything to buffer for them, so they would have just gotten taken down. But that is going to be it. We got a TVT on our hands, ladies and gentlemen.